This is Look West, a podcast from California's Assembly Democrats.
When you woke up today, there's a good chance that your morning looked like this. You got out of bed, put on your daytime sweatpants, and prepared for another day of working from home. Today, that's the reality for millions of people living in California. I'm Elon Gunning with Look West. On March 19th, California Governor Gavin Newsom ordered the state to shelter in place. Since then, people all over have been adjusting to life indoors and social distancing. Your state assembly Democrats are in the same boat, while also working to help our communities navigate through this crisis. Assemblymember Monique Limon, who spoke with us by phone while sequestered in her home, says the emotions being felt in her district reflect the feelings throughout California.
I think there are feelings of uncertainty. What is this? Is it going to impact me? If I follow the guidelines, is this enough? But there's also a sense of unity and compassion. Compassion for the health and well-being of others, unity and coming together to try to help the underserved. And then, of course, there's also feelings of frustration, which is natural. This is a new place for us. We haven't been here before as a community, as a state, as a country, or in the world. And so I think that there is some frustration in terms of when this will end, what it means in the long run, and the way that it's impacting everyone individually.
And she's glad that most people are doing their part by staying home.
In the Ventura and Santa Barbara County area, I think that the majority of community members are following all of the social distancing guidelines that have been given. I think we are still trying to do more to ensure that everyone fully understands them. And that includes individuals who don't feel that they might be immunocompromised of any ways, but understands that we're really all in this together. And so I think that there's been a lot of really good information and education that has come from this in order for us to try to tackle the spread of COVID-19.
In Los Angeles, Assemblymember Sydney Kamlager says the impacts of the coronavirus are causing deep levels of concern.
The stay-at-home orders are incredibly necessary, and they've also caused so many job losses. My constituents are worried about being able to pay rent, staying in their homes, and keeping their jobs. The consensus is that the pandemic is going to make our housing crisis much worse and also create an economic crisis.
Assemblymember Cristina Garcia also represents a portion of Los Angeles.
First and foremost, we don't have enough hospitals or medical centers, making it hard for people to get access to care and testing. My community has a lot of people with underlying respiratory conditions due to high levels of pollutions caused by things like lead, arsenic, chromium-6, and pipe exhaust. We also have a large digital divide. A lot of our students don't have access to the internet or a computer at home to do remote learning, further widening the educational gap. There's also a lot of economic stress on families who are already living paycheck to paycheck and are not considered essential workers. They will not be receiving a paycheck in the weeks to come. We also have a lot of small businesses who still have bills to pay but are closed. My small cities and school districts already have tight budgets and are struggling with the additional cost to transition services online. We also have a large immigrant population who is having a hard time getting information in a language they are comfortable with. In addition to the various essential resources throughout the community they rely on that are being interrupted. Every day we are seeing additional challenges arising from this pandemic.
And Assemblymember Mike Gibson says the struggles for people in his Los Angeles district are real.
COVID-19 has affected my district in a very negative fashion. We have seen shortage of essential supplies such as protective gears and complete testing equipment. Many of my constituents are calling concerned about access to food. Luckily, the school district is providing food, breakfast, lunch to our children, unemployment insurance. People are out of work and need their funds. Small business relief. When small businesses hurt and are in jeopardy of closing their doors, we all hurt. Luckily, the state and county and cities are working diligently to provide much needed resources to address these shortcomings.
Assemblymember Jackie Irwin from Ventura County says she knows there are deep concerns in her communities, but says there are hopeful signs as well.
People are actually quite nervous and concerned because so much is unknown, but the community is really coming together. We helped put on a blood drive, and it was really so heartwarming that in 2 hours, every Red Cross slot was filled as soon as we sent out information on social media. Nobody missed their appointment. And you just see that the community really wants to do what it can. And what we're trying to do is, keep putting out information that everybody needs to make sure to maintain social distancing and just stay at home.
She says one area where social distancing has been a problem is on the hiking trails.
There are definitely issues still with parks. It's really great that people want to go out and go hiking, but apparently there was too much social crowding, and the park district has closed some of the trails, much to everybody's dismay. So we will get through it together, but we all need to do our part.
That problem was also quite noticeable along some of the beaches in Assemblymember Almira Suchi's South Bay District.
Well, I represent the South Bay of Los Angeles County, a coastal district which goes from the beach communities to the neighborhoods of Los Angeles. The people in the South Bay have been pretty good overall in following the governor's stay-at-home order. But the beaches and some of our popular coastal hiking spots got a little crowded, where people were not following the rules of social distancing, keeping at least 6 feet apart. So that led the governor to close the parking lots for the state beaches and for some of our cities to close parks and hiking trails. I'm really disappointed with this because, number one, I love going to the beach and I love going hiking with my family, while, of course, practicing good social distancing. But I fully support the actions taken to limit the crowds. Because, folks need to get the message that, this is real. People of all ages are dying, and we need to slow the spread of this disease. The bottom line is social distancing will save lives. We're all in this together, and we all have to make sacrifices to get through this public health crisis together.
But he says there are also many examples of people coming together to help each other.
On the positive side, I've seen hopeful signs of neighbors looking out for each other, especially for our seniors and the medically vulnerable. My father, for example, is 88 and my mother is 86. They told me that their neighbors have been coming up to their home and knocking on their door, offering to do their grocery shopping for them. This simple act of kindness makes a world of difference for my parents, for me, and for all of our communities, and not only fighting this coronavirus, but also in fighting this climate of fear.
Down the road in San Diego, Assembly member Tasha Warner-Horvath says a minority of people have forced officials to close some beaches.
One of the big things that has been a big issue in my district has been beaches. And I think maybe a couple bad apples spoiled the bunch, and so some of the beaches have closed. Our state beaches in Carlsbad have closed their parking lots, but the people can still go out and take a walk on the beach, which I think is really important. When we look at people with the stay-at-home order and what that means, the governor has time and time again said he wants people to be able to go walk their dog. He wants families to be able to go on a bike ride together. He wants people to be able, in their household unit, to be able to go for a walk on the beach. And I think, we have seen such positive, constructive adherence to the public health guidance. And as long as we continue that, I think we're going to still see that we could take those walks on the beach.
On the positive side, Warner-Horvath sees people, businesses, governments, and schools doing their part to contain the virus.
I have been astounded by the number of people and organizations and businesses and nonprofits really stepping up to help those in need. And when I look around, what I really see are people doing their part to flatten the curve. I think people get it. And I think flattening the curve is a pretty complex concept. And I see everybody in all walks of life really understanding that they're keeping their physical distance of 6 feet. They're following the county's ordinances, and they are not gathering in groups over 10. And I see people coming together on Zoom chats. I see meetings being taken place with telephone conferences and video conferencing technology. and really making sure that every level of government is working in sync to get things done. I'm amazed every day at our healthcare workers and our first responders who are out there on the front lines, making sure that people are still safe, making sure that those who are sick get the healthcare they need. And people are really meeting the moment that we're in. And they're stepping up wherever they can. I know there are college students who've come back from college because they're doing distance learning, and they're volunteering to do things like Meals on Wheels or make sure our seniors are well taken care of. What I'm also seeing in our district is schools are closed. Some people have been, I guess, preparing to homeschool their entire life, and some people of us are very thankful for all the work our school districts are doing to really quickly change and adapt to the situation, have distance learning. I know my son's school, his math teacher has a Google Hangout 2 days a week where they could go in and they can learn and ask questions. So I still see that learning going on.
Over in San Bernardino County, Assemblymember Eloise Reyes has found her communities coming together as well.
In San Bernardino County, we had 0 positive tests for longer than most other counties, and it may have created a false sense of security. Now that my community knows that the numbers are low only because the number of people tested has been low, they recognize the issue is much more serious. I am very proud of our community for staying home, working remotely, practicing social distancing, washing their hands, and overall doing better for themselves and for others. The stay-at-home order has been effective in reducing community gatherings and has sent many non-essential workers home.
In nearby Riverside County, Assemblymember Jose Medina and his neighbors are following the stay-at-home order and learning new ways to keep in touch with family and friends.
Linda and I continue to work from home. I go out for essential things, go to the supermarket, very much appreciative of grocery stores that provide the first hour for 65 and above. I've taken advantage of that and commend the workers of grocery stores for their friendliness, dedication in this very, very stressful period. And for me, into my second week of staying and working from home, I appreciate people checking in on me as I do with others. And I look forward to using Zoom for the first time to be able to stay in touch with my children and grandchildren.
Petrie-Norris, who represents the coastal Orange County area, is also adjusting to a life under quarantine.
Like families all over the country and all over the state, my family is now all working from home. My husband is running his business from home, and my boys are doing a great job with their first foray into homeschooling. They're actually being super independent, which has been incredible. And our dog Flounder is so happy to have his pack here with him each and every day, and he really does bring us so much joy. We all get outside every day to take Flounder a walk, to take a run, play soccer, or in my boys' case, to skateboard. Sadly, we cannot go for any more walks on the beach or hikes because over the weekend, the city of Laguna Beach had to take the necessary step to close our beaches and our hiking trails. Our entire family is learning, like you are, to connect with our friends and our loved ones remotely, doing virtual study sessions, virtual happy hours, virtual dance parties. And as we navigate this unfathomable moment and this unprecedented crisis, I am reminded every single day to be grateful, because even in the midst of this moment, and perhaps especially in the midst of this moment, I am reminded that life is beautiful and I have so many blessings.
It's a similar story in the home of Assemblymember Borner Horvath.
I have 2 school-age kids. Maya is 9 and Mate is 12. And so we have a set schedule. We get up in the morning. Usually Maya, she's taken over the job of making breakfast for the family. Then we do some family yoga or some family karate. And then the kids get on with their schedule. My husband's working from home as well. I'm working from home as well. So we're on different calls. And then the kids check in. And it's really impressive how self-regulated they are. They will every morning they set up their schedule, they follow their schedule. We review at the end of the day all their work they've done, whether it's practicing cursive or art or it's their reading and math. So I think we're doing all that as a family. Generally late afternoon, we try to take a bike ride as a family. We're looking for the things that we do well as a family. We like to cook together. My daughter is 9 and she loves baking. Today we baked a lemon meringue pie in between conference calls, and that was really fun.
Up in the Bay Area, Rob Bonta, the assembly member from Oakland, and his family are finding ways to stay home and still maintain a normal life.
As for me personally and my family, we're doing our best to make it work. We're sheltering in place. We're spending a lot more time home together. Where my wife and I, Mia, are overseeing our children's learning. We have a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old, and their public school is closed. We're doing a lot more cooking at home and spending time around the dinner table together. We're going out for walks and getting fresh air and walking our dog together from time to time, but we're really trying to honor the shelter-in-place orders and the physical distancing guidance to make sure we do our part to help the collective and help us all get past this public health crisis. We know that we will because we're all in this together, and we're going to succeed together.
Like the other assembly members, Bonta understands the challenges caused by the coronavirus are hard on many people, but he remains optimistic when he sees his communities coming together to fight back.
The COVID-19 shelter-in-place order is affecting my district in a variety of ways, all very challenging. We have a lot of our employers and employees struggling, our small businesses really teetering on the edge. We have our parents with a new normal, with kids home from school and having to oversee distance learning and independent study. And so we're fundamentally changing the way we conduct our lives, and we have our routines totally disrupted, and a lot of the economic implications are severe and dire. So folks are doing their best to be resilient and adjust in my district, but it continues to be a challenge. And through it all, we have our constituents asking one question more than others, which is, how can I help? How can I be part of the solution? What can I do? And whether it be buying gift certificates from our small businesses or donating blood or donating to the food bank or helping out their neighbor or teaching their child from home, there's a myriad of things that people are stepping up to do. We have one business who is a distillery who retooled to be able to manufacture hand sanitizer and provided that to AC Transit, our local transit agency, for the bus drivers to be safe and healthy while they're at work. So neighbors are helping neighbors. People are stepping up. Californians and East Bay folks are doing what we do, which is overcoming adversity.
For more information, visit covid19.ca.gov. I'm Elon Gunning, and thank you for listening to Look West. Stay safe.
The Look West podcast is produced by the California Assembly Democrats. Please subscribe and rate this show wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And when you think of California and politics, remember to look west.